have difficulties in your house, and you can't burden your residents in the house with those things and share those. So it's really nice to have this safe, supportive environment for all the owners and operators.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I want to start off by introducing myself. I'm Catherine O'Hare. Welcome to the operators meeting, Valentine's Day. We have a special guest with us today from Fletcher Group. And so I'm going to let Wally take over and introduce yourself, Wally, and go ahead and talk about what's coming up next.
Okay. I'm Wally Slatinsky, and I am outreach coordinator with MARR. And this, I'm not sure if Madison is on yet, or I know.
He's here.
Okay, great. And Rachel Nichols, both with the Fletcher Group. And you said somebody else was coming on too, Rachel?
Madison, Robin's not coming on today, correct? Okay. Yep, we're all here.
So it's just you and Madison. All right, and they're gonna take the lead to explain to you within the last day or two. You should have received by email the notification of this meeting, an attachment that was an introduction to the survey that's coming out and that they're going to be speaking about today. But they are the developers of the survey, I believe, in conjunction with the University of Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. But they can explain the development of the survey, and I know it was utilized in West Virginia, and I think some of the data has already come back on that, and maybe they'll explain a little bit about that. But I think they're going to explain the purpose of the survey and what we hope to be the benefits of it here in the state, and also with a number of other states, as I understand, that are in the process of also doing the survey. So it's going to be something that's going to be able to be utilized at the national level, hopefully from our standpoint anyway. It's the data can be used to help to argue for more for more money actually for the recovery residences, and they can explain how that's going to hopefully be collected and occur. So Rachel, I'll turn it over to you. And
Thank you, Wally. Thank you, Madison. So yes, we're here to talk about the financial landscape survey that you should have received. But before we do that, I just want to give you a little background about Fletcher Group. We were founded in 2017 by Governor Fletcher to help those in addiction move to long-term recovery, with the understanding that that's not going to happen without addressing the social determinants of health, or Maslow's hierarchy. We base our work on Recovery Kentucky model that Governor Fletcher implemented while in office, setting up about 18 facilities across the state, providing recovery housing with surround services, and utilizing that peer social model for recovery. Currently, we're primarily funded by HRSA, Health Resources and Services Administration, which has designated us a rural center of excellence for the purpose of expanding the quality and capacity of recovery, housing, and support services in rural communities. To that end, these 4 areas are areas of focus: community engagement. I'm an outreach and engagement specialist, and a large part of what I do is bringing community resources together. Rather than coming in as a white knight and telling community how to do recovery, we serve as a catalyst to mobilize existing resources and identify gaps. Research and innovation. We have Robin with us today, who's part of our research group at Fletcher Group, and they literally do it all, from publishing nationally recognized peer-reviewed papers to just 2 days ago, she was working with me to identify outcomes for a small recovery house. Training and capacity building. We are constantly building new resources. They're all offered on our website at no cost. We have webinars and toolkits and templates. We have a learning center with over 75 microlearning videos to help train and equip all those in recovery field. And quality and service excellence is always our goal. We are continually researching and seeking to provide best practices to all those we serve. So as you can see, our missive covers quite a wide breadth of services, and it's under this HRSA grant that we're able to offer at no cost the survey and services that we're here to talk about today. And like Wally said, hopefully those can be leveraged to not only increase understanding and awareness of recovery and the needs of recovery, but to help you all on a sustainability level to quantify those needs that you have in your house to generate that sustainability model so that you can keep serving all those and all the things you do. With that, I will turn it over to Madison, our health economist here at Fletcher Group.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. So as Wally kind of started in the introduction, we are working with MARR right now to conduct a financial landscape assessment of recovery housing in Michigan. So through that, we are doing it in just a brief online survey that we are asking all of you to fill out. And the main goals of this study and survey really are to assess the financial makeup of certified recovery houses, really looking at what your operating costs are, what revenue sources you have, the expenses, funding barriers, operational barriers, and also financial resiliency. And this study really came out of a request from the West Virginia NAR affiliate, where they were having a lot of people coming to them with this kind of misinformation about how recovery housing is a get-rich-quick scheme, that you can make tons and tons of money operating recovery houses. And they knew that wasn't the case in West Virginia, but they didn't have really any data to point to kind of go against that misinformation, right? And so they wanted us to come in and really look at what are the finances of recovery houses? What are those operating costs and how much revenue do they have coming in? And so that's kind of what we designed this study around, is really to take a deep dive into that kind of financial aspect of operating recovery housing. Kind of secondary to that as well, we also want to look at how house size, rurality, and the population served really impacts that financial makeup. So how do some of those operating costs differ depending on how big your house is, who you're serving, where you're located, things like that. As well as, and I think really importantly for this group, identifying those policy recommendations to better support recovery houses and their funding needs. So when you're going through this survey, we would really appreciate all of your honest answers in terms of what your recovery house needs to continue to operate or to operate more seamlessly in terms of funding. What are some gaps you see in maybe the grant funding that's available, or what kind of things are you really struggling with your recovery house? Because we want to be able to make actionable recommendations that we can take to the state and at the national level to really help you all operate and continue to serve individuals with substance use disorder. So I want to give just kind of a brief overview of what we did do in West Virginia, because that is our the first state that we kind of launched this study in, and we do have some results, as Wally mentioned, from that report. And just kind of wanted to go over some of those main findings we had and how we were able to turn some of those findings into those actionable policy recommendations at that state level. So this survey and the study was disseminated from the WVAR director, the West Virginia NAR affiliate, in May of 2023, so a little while ago. And our main findings from that study really were that there was a lack of recovery housing resources in rural areas of West Virginia. Another thing that we found is that there were significant barriers for operators related to finding, applying for, and managing grants. And so this really came out of just how difficult the grant system is in some states, and especially in West Virginia. And so we were able to take this finding directly to the people who kind of manage the grant system in West Virginia, show them that, a lot of these recovery houses are struggling with the way it's set up. And they are, I think, right now working on getting some technical assistance, individuals placed in that grant kind of system in West Virginia to help operators kind of on a more one-on-one level going through that grant system. So trying to kind of identifying some of those barriers and then getting some resources put where we need to make sure that they can be addressed. We also did have our finding here that on average, programs receive about 75% of the resident fees that they charge, and most do not dismiss residents unable to pay those fees. And so again, that really went a long way in kind of going against that misinformation that a lot of the individuals in West Virginia seem to have about the amount of money to be made in recovery housing. We also found that a lot of the grant funding opportunities that were available in West Virginia didn't really align with actual funding needs of recovery house operators in the state. A lot of times there wasn't a lot of funding available for operations. There was a lot of funding available for the starting of new programs. And so we were able to, again, take that to the West Virginia kind of grant office and just kind of make them aware that maybe the grant opportunities they were putting out were not necessarily filling the needs of the operators in their state. And then we also did find that the majority of recovery housing programs are moderately financially resilient. They can overcome some of those funding challenges and barriers, but there was some opportunities for improvement around partnering with the local communities, as well as just financial diversification. So again, taking that finding to the state level, in this case, to really show them how there are some opportunities to help houses kind of financially diversify their revenue streams. So that's kind of an overview of what we did in West Virginia. Like I said, we are just hoping to kind of replicate that here. Again, just seeing what funding needs you all have and how we can kind of address those and what policies and recommendations would help to address those. So what we ask of you, you should have received, I think it was yesterday, a PDF that has an email with a survey link, and I will put that survey link in the Zoom chat as well, so it's easily accessible right after I finish here. But it is just an online survey. It should take about 15 to 20 minutes, just kind of telling us all about your operating expenses, those funding needs, etc. As a thank you for taking the survey, you will also have access to our newly created tool, the Fletcher Group Economic Calculator. This tool just takes your house's kind of economic characteristics, your operating costs, startup costs, and provides a customized cost benefit report based on your program's characteristics. So we look at how many people you serve, what your costs are, where you're located, your kind of success rate, and we're able to look at the societal benefits of recovery and kind of get an idea of those economic costs and benefits that go along with your program, and including a kind of return on investment figure that shows for every dollar invested into your recovery program, what that societal return on investment is. So that can be a really helpful kind of customized report that can help showcase the value of your program to community stakeholders or grant funding opportunities, anything like that. So everyone who takes the survey will have access to that calculator, and we are more than happy to help in any way as you go through that survey or the process if you run into any problems or have any questions. So I think that was kind of our brief overview. We're happy to answer any questions about the survey or the study or anything else.
My name is Jeff Van Treese. I operate MARR. And for the people at the University of Kentucky and the Fletcher Group, say hi to Governor Fletcher on behalf of everybody in MARR. We really appreciate this. And my thought on using this is anytime you're trying to make an argument, it's nice to have evidence. And this evidence is fantastic because it's a real-time survey of the 66 operators here in Michigan. And the hope is to present that evidence to the people at the state who write the checks out and determine here's what the daily bed rates are for you, and to determine what type of grant funding is available for you. And so it's in everybody's best financial interest to complete this survey, get it back to the people in Kentucky so that they can work on it and get back a report that can be used as, here's the real facts. And if you do this, you might actually not have to have a issue with finances where you can't pay the monthly rent or you can't pay the utilities, or God forbid, you can't pay yourself. So that's my thought on that. And if anybody needs any help after they get the financial calculator, reach out to MARR as well. We can help you. And that's all I have to say on the subject.
And I'd like to add just a bit that just before we found out about about this survey, I was talking to Jeff, and I had a conversation with two providers, and both providers said that if they did not have outside donations that were coming in, that they would be deeply in the red every single month. And I think that this survey, what I personally like about it is that it's going to be an opportunity for us to find out whether that affects everybody. Is that what everybody is dealing with? You know, all the providers are dealing with. In addition to giving us the data that Jeff and Catherine and whomever can go to the state with and use to get an increase really in our room and board rate. We know that that's very low and that people just cannot survive on that. But so that was kind of the impetus for us to be really excited about this survey and the collection. And I hope everyone really does participate because it's very, very important. You know, and it benefits you. It benefits each and every one of you, and allows us to go to bat for you with the state and try to get some of those room and board rates increased, and also maybe some more of other kind of funding that comes down. So from support services. So anyway, that's.
Thank you, Wally. Thank you, Wally, for Fletcher Group and Jeff. And it doesn't just benefit you, current operators, it's going to benefit future operators and hopefully allow more people to open up homes throughout our beautiful state in the UP. So, Wally, did you have anything else? Any other updates you wanted to bring up?
You know, Catherine, I don't, except I just want to add one thing, and that I think it's important to also know that I know I made a comment that the survey was being carried to other states that were MARR affiliates, and I think that's really important on the national level too. That this data that's collected from all these other states, including ours, can then be used at the national level for the same purposes that we are using it here in our state. You know, to get more financial help that's sent down from the government. So that's how it works. You know, that's how it works. But they all want to see something. You say, you know, that sounds wonderful. We know you're doing a great job, but you know, we want to look at some data and to see just exactly what it is that you know. So anyway, that's all I have.
Yes. Thank you, Wally. We do work as Fletcher Group on a national level to for advocacy and policy change. So absolutely what you're saying is right on target. This can come in be a powerful tool. You know, we have to tell those stories. Those are powerfully impactful, the stories from each and every one of your recovery houses. So if you can have that, plus you have some hard, cold numbers, that's a 1-2 punch, and it's pretty irresistible.
It's hard to argue with data, right? So thank you, Rachel, and hopefully all the operators will do the survey. The sooner we can get it done, the better. And it all has to do with being consistent too. So hopefully all the states will take part in this, and we'll see a big change.
Okay. Before we go, Madison, do you want to talk about kind of the, you know, kind of timeline from here on out? You've sent the survey. Can you give us an idea of going forward what this will look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've sent kind of our initial survey invitation out yesterday. You'll get in about 2 weeks a reminder if you haven't taken it, just another opportunity to go ahead and take that survey. And then we should have a final version of the report and everything after that data collection closes towards the end of March. We'll have those results within the next 2 months or so in a report to MARR. that can also be distributed to all the operators and everything. And if you do participate and want that individual economic calculator report, that will be coming into your inbox as well as we get that data in.
And so report timeline, maybe to have the
Say
final.
April, May,
Uh-huh.
depending on
Great.
when our data collection closes. Yep.
Great. I know I don't want to put you in a box here, but I just want to give people a ballpark figure. Yeah.
It looks like we do have a question. David, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, I'm looking at the survey on a different screen. I came upon one. Indicate the percentage of residents that leave your program prior to 60 or stay longer than 60. Would I pull those numbers from like the last calendar year, or do you want it within a certain time frame?
The last calendar year is great. On some of those, we do understand that it can be an estimate, you know, of just in the most recently, kind of what is that length of stay for your residents and everything. On the financial questions, they will be more specific for the last kind of full year in particular.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much, Rachel and Madison, for being here and sharing this information. You were going to share a link as well in the chat, correct? So looks like we may have some people that did not receive the survey. That way they'll be able to have that information available.
Yes, it is in the
it.
chat right now. Thank you.
I'll also send it again in my post-meeting follow-up email that everyone gets. So everyone will get it.
Perfect. Thank you. Jeff, do you have any updates for everybody? What's going on?
I can report back is that at the state level, I still anticipate a hearing at some point, and then hopefully in the next few months, what additional funding might be available for either the long-term 5-year plus lease or purchase of recovery residences, and for the buying the personalty and the furnishings in the recovery residences. Second thought is that on the LGBTQ plus policy, if anybody has any questions about that in reference to having a request based upon a First Amendment religious rights to that, there is a procedure to follow with the state of Michigan. So if anybody has that issue that comes up, please contact me and I can get you the information regarding asking for the religious exemption. Other than that, we're just looking forward to trying to increase the daily rates, and the results of this survey are going to go a long way along with the results of the RECCAP survey. And I'd like to thank everybody that's participating in the RECCAP work. That is indicating exactly what we thought it would here in Michigan in terms of there's a general people that stay in recovery residence. And this is no surprise to anybody on this phone call. Build recovery capital over the first 90 days. And also there's a reduction in barriers to recovery over the first 90 days. After the 90 days, it goes down a little bit because people look around and say, geez, I've got to, it's like they look at a house fire and say, gee, I got to replace everything. But then it continues to go up so that after 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, they're back to the same recovery capital they would have had prior to having their experience with a substance use disorder. So having said that, that's it.
Thank you, Jeff. Anyone have any questions for Jeff? No. Speaking of RECCAP, Kelly couldn't make it with us today, but she did ask me to remind everybody, if you have not been in contact with her, please respond to your email from her and contact Kelly ASAP. She said, also let them know that Wayne State and the PIHP directors are accessing the information, and it is mandatory to minimally complete the evaluations with their residents. So it's really important. The state's on board now as well, the PIHPs who are the funders for many of you. So it's really important that they see what the benefit is for being in a recovery residence, running a recovery residence, and that's going to also hopefully help to increase the rate of pay that you're receiving for your home. So maybe you'll be able to open up more homes, you know, or help more individuals. So she always also wanted me to remind everybody of the community of practice. It's the 4th Wednesday of every month at 3 p.m. So if you have not received an email on that, please put your information in the chat. I'll make sure that, and Kayla and I will make sure that Kelly gets that information so that you're invited to the community practice. So any questions about
If I could add a little bit to that, what they're looking at, the RecCap data is also goes to the clouds, right? And it comes back in the form of a dashboard. All of the information that's identifying is taken out of that and it's redacted. So they're just looking at numbers. But your PIHP SUD directors are going to be able to look at, I suspect that they will, every single RecCap score by every single program in the state of Michigan, at least the ones that are in their geographical area. And so as they come on board, and that's called a dashboard, they're able to look at that information. That is something that is going to be a standard of practice at some point. Is RecCap is going to be used universally by everybody. And so we're on the ground floor. And what Kelly was talking about in terms of there's a lesser requirement, there's two parts of the RecCap, right? One is I'm going to do the evaluation. And the second part is I'm going to do a plan for recovery. The plan for recovery takes a little bit more time. So we're just looking at least capturing the data on the, take the RecCap questionnaire. That doesn't take 15, 20 minutes, half hour. And so everybody that's going in the program, if we can start capturing the RecCap scores and the improvements as they stay in your homes and the recovery capital increases, that's what we're looking for.
I just wanted to speak up here real quick. Maddie and I are gonna let you all finish your meeting. We just wanted to say goodbye, and I put my email in the chat. Please email if you have any questions about the survey or need assistance with anything else. And thank you for your hospitality. We'll look forward to reconnecting.
Thank you, Rachel.
Bye-bye.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for Jeff or any of us on things we've talked about so far? For those of you that haven't done so already, if you could please put your name and the name of your organization in the chat so we can take roll call, see who's attending our meetings. And as a reminder, if you cannot attend a monthly meeting, please go to the MARR site and you can review the meeting on YouTube. We have our own YouTube there on the MARR site, and it is mandatory that you know the information, and there's a lot of valuable information that we cover on these meetings. So please make an effort to show up to the meeting every month. That would be great. We'd also like to see everyone's faces, hint, hint. So get your cameras on so we can see who we're talking to, and that would be great. Kayla, go ahead and introduce yourself, and do you have any updates on anything?
I'm Kayla King. I am the project manager for MARR, and I know I speak with a lot of you personally on a regular, at least a yearly basis. I don't particularly have any updates, but I did also want to add to that what Catherine just said about putting your name, like your name and the program that you're with. I noticed there's a lot of new people on here, maybe representing the certified program, but maybe it's like a new name or we haven't maybe you're new with the program. If you want any of the regular emails that we send out, or if you want to be on, like, get these meeting invitations, literally anything to do with MARR, and you're not already on our email list, please leave your email in the chat and I will add you to the email list. That way, if you're going to be the person that's regularly attending these meetings for your program, that way someone won't have to forward you the meeting, and you'll already be on the invitation every month. So if anyone wants any new people on here, have any questions, or if they want to be on the email list, just put your email in. Oh. I got a couple people already that already asked to have their email included, so.
Do we have any new operators coming on board, Kayla?
Few, yeah. And I know we have at least 1 or 2 new people on here that are kind of going through the process of starting. So if anyone wants to speak up and introduce themselves, feel free, no pressure, of course. Or if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. We're open book people here. We can give you some answers. And just to put out there too, since there are a lot of new people on here, we do have the Facebook group still available. I know it hasn't been super active. I know people have trouble either responding to things, maybe they're not on Facebook all the time, but our Facebook group is a really awesome way to connect with other operators and get advice, ask questions, all that kind of stuff. And it would be really helpful for you guys. I know we try to post in there once in a while to kind of get conversation going, but the more people join, the merrier. So that'll also be in the post meeting follow-up email. There's a link to it every single month. So yeah, that's basically it, unless anyone has any questions.
It's also a great place to share what's going on with your organization. You know, share different ideas and things that you might want, maybe other people would find some interest in. It would help the residents in their organization as well. So, all right, well, thank you. Any questions so far? No
questions, but I would like to introduce myself.
Please do.
Hoping you
Okay,
would.
my name is Shaquila, and we're new, so pending our MARR survey of bound rehabilitation services in
Welcome.
Detroit. So yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Great to
Welcome.
meet you.
Look forward to seeing your home. You have 1 home or 2 or
Well, we have 1 home currently that should be ready within another week, and then we have a building that will be ready within 45 business days. So we're just excited and happy to be a part of, the MARR and our family.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you for your
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
I'll go. I am Alicia Bertrand. We are based in Hannahville, Michigan, which is a Indian reservation. I work with Superior Connections, RCO, based in Marquette. So that was a huge bridge that we created here, and I think it's a really unique marriage, to say the least. Right now, I'm working on certification through MARR and operating a 12 apartment building. Forgive me, I had dental work today, so I saw kind of weird. But really excited and learning as much as I can and getting as much done as quickly as I can. So it's a huge undertaking, and I'm just glad to be here.
Thank you.
Great to meet
Welcome.
you.
Jeff, you had something you were going to say?
I was just going to say hi to Alicia. We spoke last weekend. And as far as I know, in the state of Michigan, this will be the first recovery residence located on a tribal reservation. And, I think
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jeff.
no, I was just saying, I believe that there are other recovery residences in other states, like Minnesota, Oklahoma, I think, another one. But this is the first that I'm aware of anyway, and I've probably should know these things. Recovery residents on a tribal reservation in the state of Michigan. So we're looking forward to working with them, and I actually talked to David Best, Professor Best from England, who had worked with Don Quayas on trying to come up with some type of culturally sensitive recovery capital assessment for the tribal community. He had done one for the Maori tribe in New Zealand, and was anyway, that'll be a continuing conversation that I'll have with you and others about trying to come up with a culturally sensitive for tribal communities version of RECCAP.
I will
That's all I had to
absolutely
say.
help you with that. And
I thought as much.
I will be incorporating the Wellbriety as well. I'm very involved in the culture, so incorporating that into our programming is an absolute.
Yeah. Well, that makes all the sense in the world. So, yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing your program.
Yes.
Yeah, as soon as the new operators are done, you have everything turned into Kayla. That's during the application and processing period. She reaches out to me and lets me know that the operator's ready for a site review. And then we get something scheduled, and it's usually within the first week or two, we're able to do that. As a reminder though, no place is perfect. There's always going to be things that need to be fixed. You got people living in your home, coming and going. So there's always going to be things that you need to take care of, but you have 30 and up to 60 days to take care of things. If there need to be corrections, and we can get you certified after that. So awesome. I wanted to say Fresh Coast Alliance is actually our operator of the month this month. We've been certified with us for several years, and it's an amazing program. So we have Candy. Candy, you're with us today. You want to talk to us a little bit about your program?
Yeah, hi, I'm Candy. I'm the communications director at Fresh Coast, but as many of you know, that means you may wear many hats at a nonprofit, and I'm our MARR certified person. And we're in Muskegon, Michigan, not far from the lake, and it's really beautiful. I've been with the organization for about a year and a half. I come from 16 years with a national nonprofit, and brought me back to my home state. And we have 6 certified houses. Oh, and of course, our motion light goes out because I'm sitting alone in a room. That's to keep the costs down, right? We all do this.
Budget friendly, right?
Budget friendly. But we offer, so we have 6 homes in the Sheldon Park neighborhood of Muskegon, and they're all within walking distance of our training center and a therapy practice that we run that also has an MAT clinic. And we offer 18 hours of free programming to the community at our training center, everything from AA to relationship classes, 2 meals a week, and it's all free and open to the public, those classes. And we have a therapy practice, MAT clinic that some of our residents work in, and we do reentry and recovery work. So men and women coming out of jail and prison, and then also people beginning their recovery journey. And we also have an IOP that we launched last March. And so currently we're the highest level of addiction care in Muskegon County. And we have tons of great partners. And I love seeing our friends from Recovery Road on here. We have a lot of your guys come to our place, and we love them, and we share community up here in Muskegon. So, but yeah, that's what we do. There's a lot more, but those are the key main things. And I love our participants. They're our friends. I love having meals with them and building community, and yeah, it's enjoyable.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all you do. And it's operators like you that, just you're a great example of what a certified operator is about. It's more than just opening up a home and putting a roof over someone's head, right? And say, don't use. You have other resources in place for them. And it sounds like the community is really involved as well. in Muskegon, which is amazing. And every time I go to your homes, you can almost eat off the floors. I mean, they always meet standards. They look really nice, and appreciate it. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you for setting this up so it's easy to follow.
Yeah. And so, anyone have any questions so far on what we're talking about, or any questions for Fresh Coast?
I also
Okay.
wanted to just add real quick. I know we announced Building Men for Life last month, but that actually was not the operator of the month last month. They were the operator of the month, I think, either prior to that. So the operator of the month last month was actually Harbor Hall. So I don't know if there's anyone on for Harbor Hall, but you were celebrated last month and you were on the website along with Fresh Coast. You are on our website as well as operator of the month. So we highlight you guys to celebrate each of our operators.
Well, this month is actually Black History Month as well. So I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention if you weren't aware already, and wanted to reach out to see, does anyone do anything special to recognize Black History Month within your program? You bring that up at any of your home meetings? If you have anything you'd like to share with the other operators, please speak up.
Or we'll call on you.
Or we'll call on you, right? Right. Oh. All right, well, if you haven't already, please make your residents aware of Black History Month and other resources maybe that are in your community that could be helpful for them. So this meeting is for you guys. So is there anybody that would like to bring up any questions or concerns, anything going on with your home that you'd like to share? Please feel free to speak up. We can have a conversation about it.
Hello, this is Tony Allen from Elmhurst Home.
Tony?
And normally I'm the overseer of recovery housing. However, the supervisor, Miss Wilson, was not able to make it today, but they are planning a Black History Month presentation, I think on the 28th of the month. That's supposed to be pretty good. They're going to present it to the residential treatment population.
Awesome.
So is this something for the community that the community can see or be involved with?
No, not the community itself, only the residential community, residential treatment community. That's it.
Within Elmhurst or any of them?
Yes, within Elmhurst.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Glad to
Thank
hear
you.
it.
Hey, I'm going to call somebody, see what's going on with your program. Let me see, who haven't I called on in a while? Steve Lacey. Hello. What's going on with your program? What home are you involved with?
Up until very recently, I was working with the Barrica House in Marquette, Superior Connections. But in the past couple of weeks, our main supervisors returned to work, and I've been doing more of a freelancing peer recovery coaching throughout the different homes we have in our organization.
Awesome. We got a lot of people on here from Superior Connections. Seem like at least 3 of you.
All right.
Here's a question for you, Steve.
Sure.
How frequently do you have the peer recovery coaches meet with the residents? Is that a weekly? Day, a couple times?
Well, almost everybody in our organization has taken the C card, or they're in the middle of taking the C card right now. And I can't speak for all the recovery coaches, but I try to bounce around every day and get to at least one of our houses and touch base with the guys. I'm very big into trying to get everybody to get out to meetings, to the gym, any healthy hobbies that we can promote.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was just interested because I've talked to some other recovery residence operators in Lansing and then also down in Florida. And what they tell me is that, like at a minimum, the peer recovery coach meets with the individual once a week, and that their cost for the peer recovery coach is you typically, this is a year ago, so add 10%. It was like $15 to $20 per hour range. Any of those numbers sound right to you, or way off the base, or?
For me personally, it's hard to say. So in the Barriga house we have 4 guys, and I spend a lot of my time with those 4 individuals. And then we have another residence, it'd be the Fisher house, which is at 16 people right now, and I don't get to see maybe the few that I'm involved with. I see them once a week right now. My position has changed drastically in the past week or two, so it's kind of hard to give you a real read on what I'm doing because I'm still trying to figure it out.
Okay. Well, that's what I see is coming to be the practice in our level 3s and 4s, is that if they have peer recovery coaches, that they meet with the individual residences on a weekly basis, and that the general range of what $dollars an hour or something like that range. And that, you know, from my point of view, it would be great if every recovery house had that offered as a support service for the people that are in the program, that they can have a regular peer recovery coach and have a relationship with a peer recovery coach.
For sure.
So anyway, thanks for what you're doing up there, Steve. When the
Appreciate
snow melts, we'll come up and talk to you.
Sounds good.
I'm going to piggyback just a little bit on the peer recovery coach question. So I'm Wendy. I am the operations director at Healthy House for Women in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And sorry, my head seems to not get at the camera right now. So our women are required to have a sponsor and a recovery coach within their first 30 days in our program. We have reached out to organizations within the community that already employ these people. And so we're partnering with different places that already have it. So it doesn't cost our house anything for these peer recovery coaches. We're going through community resources, but all of our women meet with their recovery coach weekly.
That makes a lot of sense. That's similar to in Margate, Florida. There's a fellowship, Christian fellowship. And Deb Garrett in Detroit is doing the same thing with Echo and Shar Academy, where they have a hub and spoke. So there'll be one central location that'll be the place for surrounding recovery residences to send their residents in to have the services of, here's a peer recovery coach, here's a rec cap with a rec cap navigator. And that makes, just from a business point of view, makes all the sense in the world, because you're the expert at running the recovery residence, and have that function of, I need to hire, fire, retain, and pay for recovery coaches someplace else that would be centrally located. I think that makes a lot of sense. So congratulations on what you're doing in Kalamazoo, kid.
Yeah, I can also piggyback off this. I can't speak to wages, but we have an in-house peer recovery coach, and we also have a peer recovery coach for our MAT clinic. So all of our housing has to meet weekly. And once they start, the longer they're in our housing, sometimes it moves to every other week and then monthly check-ins. But the longer they're here, it steps down. But then we also have a peer recovery coach for our MAT clinic. So everyone going through there has to meet with a coach.
That's a fantastic approach to the issue.
Hi, my name is Crystal. I'm with the Mother's Touch. And in our home as well with our moms, we also have our moms to connect with other community agencies that offer the therapy, recovery coach, and case management. But also, and they have to meet with them, and then we do a wrap meeting with that team with the team at our home, just to make sure we're all on the same page and can kind of make sure we're giving that full circle support to the moms. And I'm also certified as a peer mentor, so I meet with them also in addition, just to kind of, help out in between.
Do you have any parents with children in your program?
Yes, we are a mother and child program, and our kiddos are up to the age of 5.
The reason I ask is because this interesting at the NARC board meeting last week, where they're talking about having a national work group for the people that are housing parents with children.
Oh,
yeah, there's a big issue for that everywhere.
yeah.
And so there's a national work focus group that's spearheaded by some people out of Texas.
Oh,
But if you, yeah. So I'll send out. I'll make sure that everybody on this phone call here's the information, the contact information. But that's just literally just going to be starting here in the next week or two. So we'll put you in on the ground floor.
I would appreciate that. Thank you, Jeff.
Great.
welcome.
And that's a big reason why a lot of women and men don't get into recovery residences, because what am I going to do with my children? Right. So they need more resources. And I know that there's more funding opportunities, grant opportunities as well for that population. So again, something to think about. Recovery homes are needed so badly throughout our state.
Yeah.
And especially in the rural locations again. And for the newer operators, if you're looking to expand, rural locations are really needed. We need homes in those areas. But again, you have to remember, how far away are you from the nearest town? Is it going to be easy for them to find employment and get to meetings and stuff? So you want to make sure that you're within a reasonable range or walking distance, or there's busing for individuals when you have a recovery residence. If you're too far away, like there's been a couple that, it's like 7 miles to the closest town and for people to find work. And we want to make sure that we're setting them up for success. So the closer you are to those resources, the better. And level 1s and level 2s, you don't typically have recovery coaches available, but as they were talking here a few minutes ago, there's resources in the community. So reach out to your local community mental health agency and other agencies that do employ recovery coaches, and you can refer your individuals there to get the services they need. So just another community resource that you can share with your individuals. So, great.
Catherine, I think what just happened was an excellent example of why people need to speak up at these meetings every month, because for you to come on here and open up and talk about maybe some of your needs or some of your shortcomings, and it's a great example of, so Jeff had a solution for an opportunity for her to get more involved, to learn more about, for all of you really, to learn more about the women and children or men and children's programs. And there's so much of that going on that you never know when you bring something up that somebody else might have being involved with something or know of something that they can share with you that'll help solve that problem. So anyway, that's the old teacher.
You hit a home run on that, Wally. That's absolutely correct. And so this is turning in addition to the training and the announcements from MARR, it really is best served, I think, as a group to have a community practice where we say, hey, I'm thinking about having, I've got an issue with kids in the recovery house. Well, I know NAR has spent probably 10 hours putting together a standards review policy guide because there are issues that come up about, oh, gee, I need to get a state license if I'm going to be caring for somebody else's children in a home for money. And so those are the kinds of things that, you better check with your state licensing people. There are different ways of dealing with the issues of how do you care for kids in a recovery house. But there's nobody that's written the Bible on it yet. And so as you folks working together come up collectively, here's the best practices. That's where I see this as being a real useful tool. So
Great.
that's it. I have nothing else. Have anything else, Catherine?
Anyone else have anything they want to bring up? We got a few more minutes. All right. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm going to give you a few extra minutes left of your day. So thank you everyone for.
Before everybody leaves,
Oh, here we go.
I want to say that Catherine is engaged to be married today. And
sure
I want to
is.
make sure that I embarrass as much as possible by announcing this during the phone call.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations.
All right.
She deserves all the happiness in the world, and he's an amazing guy. So,
All right. I'm
With
embarrassed.
that,
All right. Bye.
Don't be.
Thank
Congrats.
you.
All right.